si Kasoho. Mukhang wala nang ibang same old bullshit pa rin. Election shit, artista chismis, things that I don't really care about that much. So, I would rather stream something else. Okay? I might as well just do UFC content. The greatest sport on the planet. I stand by it. Grabe, sobra. Okay, the streams are set up. Let's see. Don't save. Okay. All right, we're gonna do a UFC 267 recap starting right now. What's up, motherfucker? Welcome to the Powerful Comics Man podcast. This is Ganito Lang Yan with Comics Man. Okay, so we are gonna be doing a UFC 267 recap. It is an epic card. Sobrang lupit, ang daming. There are lots of things that happened here. Alam mo yun, that sets up great things that are about to happen in the UFC in the future. Especially in the lightweight, in the middleweight, and also in the light heavyweight division, diba? We're gonna see how the winners are gonna take over later on upcoming events. Kasi si Glover Teixeira. Okay, so first let's recap the big things that happened on this event. Okay, so first of all, of course, we have a new light heavyweight champion on Glover Teixeira who beat Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz is a recently minted champion. Kailan ba? This year lang ba when he beat sino tinalo ni Jan Blachowicz? Si Dominic Reyes pala. Dominic Reyes for the vacant light heavyweight belt. And then he defended it against Israel Adesanya this year. Early this year. So last year ata yung kay Dominic Reyes. And now he was supposed to defend the belt for the second time against Glover, and he lost. And Glover, this is the big story. One of the big stories. The others are as heavy as this. Kasi Glover Teixeira at 42 years old. What an amazing story. Amazing story. At 40 years old, he wins the light heavyweight belt. UFC champion siya bigla. And alam mo yun, yan yung yan yung yung sinasabi ko that the UFC is the greatest soap opera on TV in the history of television. Kumbaga, real world consequences. Sobrang, kumbaga, nobody can write this shit, diba? Glover Teixeira, just a little history about this man. Joe Rogan had been raving about Glover Teixeira for many years before he even arrived in the UFC. Kasi he knew about Glover as a very dominant champion in Brazil. Kasi he's Brazilian. Okay, so this guy, Glover Teixeira, he's been dominating the scene, the MMA scene in Brazil in the late 2010s. 2000s pala, 2000s. But then again, when he was about to go to the US, nagkaroon siya ng visa problems, 'di ba? So hindi siya makapunta. Parang something changed sa immigration ata ng US. I'm not sure what happened. Basta nagka-problema siya on his visa and had had to do another 5 years ata before he could get one. So, alam mo yun, that kind of ate up a much of his, a lot of his time, di ba? Kasi during that time, siguro, he was in his mid-20s. Kasi that was early 2010s. Late 2000s pala. And then, he finally got to the UFC, I think 2012. 2012, and he started winning and eventually fought for the lightweight championship against John Jones. But John Jones is a different kind of animal, especially during that time. That was John Jones' peak, was his best years. So he fought Glover Teixeira, fought John Jones and lost their first and only match. I don't know kung maglalaban pa sila later on. And what happened to that match? Early in the first round yata, he got caught with a weird shoulder lock. Basta you gotta see it. I can't describe it dito. And basta John Jones caught Glover's arm, tapos he yanked it upwards, tapos yung shoulder niya parang that was fucked up, and he couldn't make use of his arm properly since then. And that was in the first round. So eventually he lost. I think it was a decision. I don't know. I'm not sure if John Jones finished Glover in their fight, but ultimately Glover lost, and then he kind of lost steam, and it took him 2012 up to this year. So almost 9 years ang road niya pabalik sa championship title shot. 'Di ba? Kasi hindi siya makasingit kasi nandun yung mga DC versus John Jones era eh. Tapos nandun si Rumble Johnson, and then John Jones had his legal troubles. So it took him a long time to get back on track. But then again, Glover Teixeira, hindi siya masyadong matunog na pangalan, unlike let's say Israel Adesanya, Conor McGregor. So nobody really knows him outside the MMA fan circle. But he had been silently working his way up the past 3-4 years, and now he was able to fight for the belt and dominated Jan Blachowicz. Grabe tong si Glover Teixeira. And I kind of had a feeling that he would parang alam mo yun, gut feel, meron kang ganun. Although sometimes hindi nangyayari. Pero kasi between Glover and Blachowicz, I don't really have a dog in this fight, but I knew that I'm gonna feel a lot better if Glover wins. Teka, ayusin natin to. Bakit Marvel to? Matagal na to UFC. Ayusin lang natin to. UFC 267 recap. Huh. Wait. Yan. Okay. So, Glover was able to take Jan Blachowicz down in both of the 2 rounds, and he was basta you can see that Jan was very uncomfortable. Yan, ito yung ito yung moment na parang they say, hindi ko alam tawag, can opener ata ang tawag dito sa tong move na to, and you can see na hindi makawala si Jan Blachowicz sa grappling ni Glover. Kasi Glover is I think 2-degree black belt sa jiu-jitsu, and kumbaga he is regarded as one of the highest level grapplers in the middleweight division, light heavyweight division rather. So it's it was walang answer. Yon did not have an answer sa ground game ni Glover. He was able to put in some punches while standing up, but then ultimately, and he still got rocked several times, and ultimately he got taken down once again, and Glover got to secure a rear naked choke. Yeah, no. And he got his back, flattened him out, and choked the champion. And now he is the 42-year-old second oldest UFC champion of all time. I think ang pinakamatanda I think is Randy Couture. So at 45 ata or 46. And siya yung second na pinakamatanda. Third would probably be Daniel Cormier. I'm not sure. But alam mo yun, sila yung... And as a recently minted 40-year-old, I just can't help but feel parang wow, this is amazing, 'di ba? Parang after all that journey na you from his troubles with the visa, not giving up with the dream of competing in the best MMA organization in the planet, and then ultimately fighting for the championship and losing, and now almost a decade of trying to return and get a title shot. He did it, di ba? It's what a story. Kumbaga, I always say nobody can write this shit. Nobody. Wala. Kumbaga parang this is the best thing about MMA, especially the UFC. If you follow any organization, I suppose this will apply to any organization as long as the organization keeps gets to maintain the show. Kumbaga hindi siya mawawala, 'di ba? You can follow each fighter's journeys, 'di ba? Like Glover, parang Glover is supposed to be kumbaga dahil wala nang ibang mailaban. Kumbaga parang Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes, si Johnny Walker, they are familiar faces already. They just all fought recently. Although Glover Teixeira had been like I said earning his title shot, he isn't as flashy as the other names that I mentioned. One is because he's an older guy, 'di ba? He's not really the talkative fighter who has great skills in the microphone, who can cut promos like Adesanya or Conor McGregor, mga ganyan. He's just a solid fighter and just creates results for himself, and that is a very respectable trait of him, which eventually earned him the gold. Who knows how long Glover will hold the title? Kasi everybody's saying that the next fight for him would be a young gun na isa pang flashy fighter, si Jiri Prohaska. I'm not sure if I'm saying it correctly, and he's kumbaga para siya capoeira artist yun eh, and it's gonna be the old guard versus a young blood, ganun. And basta napaka layo nung styles nila and their status in the game. One is a rising lion, and while Glover is kumbaga a stalwart of the game, 'di ba? And as for Jan Blachowicz, he was a great champion. I like the guy. I didn't mind if he won. I still think parang I really wanted to see him fight John Jones, but John Jones he is just messed up right now. Kumbaga parang I love to love John Jones, but it seems like he doesn't want me to love him. Diba? Ganun yung feeling ko kay John Jones eh. And it's I don't know what's gonna happen. John Jones is moving to the heavyweights. Parang ang labo naman kung babalik siya sa light heavyweight, 'di ba? Although by the looks of it, si Jan Blachowicz could be a heavyweight. Ang laki niya eh, 'di ba? I don't know. Let's see what the future holds for Jan Blachowicz. As for Glover, the champ, much respect. He can lose the next fight. What's important is he has already achieved his life's goal to become the UFC champion. But of course, you'll never know how much is left with somebody like Glover. Especially now, even the older fighters get to kumbaga mahaba yung longevity ng careers ng mga fighters. Yan. Yun. We're gonna watch out what the future holds for the powerful Glover Teixeira. Okay, so let's see. The other big things that happened on UFC 267 was, well, actually ang dami eh. Eto, another championship fight was between Petr Yan and Cory Sandhagen. But this is I'm not sure if this is it is an interim title bout. Medyo ayan, like what I'm saying, the UFC is the greatest tawag dito, anong term ko? Soap opera. etong storyline nitong mga to, kay Petr Yan and Cory Sandhagen, and the champion, which is out right now because of injury, Aljamain Sterling. So Aljamain Sterling was challenged Petr Yan. Petr Yan was the champion last year. Okay? So Petr Yan got the belt and defended against Aljamain Sterling. Yun nga lang, there something happened. Petr Yan committed a foul even though he was dominating the entire fight. So there's this rule in MMA where you cannot knee a fighter to the head when he is grounded, meaning yung knees niya are on the floor dun sa mat. I think kahit yung kamay, basta any of the hands and knees, if they touch the mat, they are considered as grounded fighters, and you cannot kick or knee to the head. You can punch, you can elbow, but you cannot kick or knee. So so during that time, Sterling was kumbaga, it was pretty obvious na parang he's getting his ass beat, and then he got, you can say, lucky, di ba? Kasi Petr Yan committed the foul, which is a very blatant foul naman talaga. Very obvious na foul talaga yun. Nobody can deny that it was a foul. So he need Sterling to the face, and now sinamahan ni Sterling ng drama, 'di ba? Drama ng konti, and then he became a champion through that. Okay, he won the championship. So naturally, the fans did not go along with him, and kumbaga parang everybody still considers Petr Yan as the champion. So so he defended Petr Yan a couple of days ago, defended that championship belt against Corey Sandhagen. Corey Sandhagen is fresh from the TJ Dillashaw fight. He also lost that one, pero he also battered TJ Dillashaw. So, kumbaga, basically ang nangyari dito sa laban nila was a repeat of that TJ Dillashaw fight. Petr Yan won by decision, and teka, bakit ganun? Method 5. Ito win. Okay, tama. Nalito ako. Okay, so Petr Yan won by decision, unanimous decision. And ang nangyari kasi is paano ba? Teka, balik tayo din sa video. So what happened was Corey Sandhagen was kumbaga pinapaulanan niya yung ginamit niyang style is to shower Petr Yan with a lot of volume striker kasi si Corey Sandhagen, and while Petr Yan got the most powerful attacks in the fight. So there was a time that he knocked down Corey with spinning shit. 'Di ba? Basta whenever Petr Yan lands, ayan, tuloy-tuloy yung si Corey Sandhagen, ang dami niyang combos. Pero when Petr Yan lands, you can really see the effect on Corey. Petr Yan is one of the best fighters, one of the most exciting fighters in the UFC roster. Definitely. But Corey Sandhagen's style is just a little more flashy. Mas magalaw siya. Compared to Sandhagen, Petr Yan looks a little bit flat-footed. Not that I have expert eyes on this matters, but pero basta pag tinatamaan si Corey Sandhagen ng suntok ni Petr Yan and his kicks, you can feel the damage being done. Although Sandhagen got, I think, first round he did very well, and the thing with Petr Yan, as experience na rin siguro, I don't know how many fights Petr Yan already has, but alam mo yun, he was able to make reads on the opponent, and by the third round he already got Corey Sandhagen's timing, yung mga nuances ng galaw niya, and he began dominating. He began catching him on his attacks. Naging effective yung mga counters niya, and yun, ultimately he was able to stop Sandhagen and successfully defend the bantamweight title ba to? I think bantamweight title nga. Wait. Uy, nawala. Wait. Oh man, nawala. I think bantamweight title nga yun. Okay, so lipat na ulit tayo. So we're just gonna see when Sterling will be able to return and fight Petr Yan again. Hindi ko alam kung kailan yun, kasi I think nagkaroon ng surgery si Sterling on his head ata. So medyo mabigat yung or neck, parang ganun. So hopefully he still gets to return. Sana naman para matuldukan ang bakit ganun? Ba't nawala? Okay, dito tayo. Okay. Nawala yung ano ko. Okay. So, yan. 158 strikes. Okay. Mas volume fighter si si Sandhagen. And but still, knockdowns we have 1. Okay. Lipat tayo with Islam Makhachev. Islam Makhachev is the fighter na everybody is saying the heir to the throne ni Khabib Nurmagomedov. Okay, so siya yung sinasabi nila na papalit sa pwesto. They are on the same weight class. So Islam Makhachev is as dominant as Khabib. And hindi ko alam kung ilang taon na si Islam. Basically fights like Khabib. And this is the first time that I think this is the first time that he was able to fight a ranked fighter in Dan Hooker, which is in no way a slouch. Dan Hooker just fought kakalaban din lang ni Dan Hooker last month ata. And it wasn't an easy fight. Kumbaga an extremely easy fight rather, diba? But in Islam Makhachev facing him after the fight, during the press con, sabi ni Islam, he didn't even need to shower after the fight. Ganun kadali. So, 2 minutes and 25 seconds on the first round, the fight is over. Diba? And there were a few strikes exchanged. Teka, punta tayo. And then ultimately, he got the finish by basta a vicious Kimura. Eto, wow, sakit niyan. Teka, hindi pa siya naka Mamaya ilalagay niya yung isang leg niya sa yan, ito yung ending. Ilalagay niya yung leg niya dun sa ulo, and after that, yan, 'di ba? He'd be able to secure the Kimura. And wala ka nang kawala dyan. Oh, ang sakit nun. Holy shit. 'Di ba? And then, very easily, ginawa niya yun. And, alam mo yun, he's a scary dude. Again, he's like Khabib during his, yung unang pumasok si Khabib Nurmagomedov on the UFC. Nobody knew him back then. Nobody wanted to fight him, especially when he wasn't ranked yet. Everybody was trying to avoid Khabib kasi napaka-dominant nung wrestling niya. Although, to me, mas may weapon si Islam. I think he strikes better than Khabib. But that's just me. Kasi syempre mas well-rounded na yung training ni Islam compared to Khabib. I suppose kasi Islam, for one, is younger, and he started training earlier in his career, and he was taken to AKA, diba? Dun sa gym ni na Khabib, where a lot American Kickboxing Academy. So, mga strikers yung nandun. Diba? So, that says it all. So, I think mas napagtuunan ng pansin yung striking ni Islam compared to his mentor, Khabib. So, Khabib is now his head coach, I suppose. But Islam was also trained by Khabib's father, na very highly respected in Dagestan fighting community. Diba? So, yung the Nurmagomedov, I forget the name of Khabib's dad, but sobrang ano niyan, sobrang respetado yung pamilya nila. And now, since namatay yung airpat ni Khabib last year, which prompted him to retire. Di ba? Ayaw niyang lumaban. And now, Islam is filling the void that Khabib Nurmagomedov left. And I don't know kung sinong lalaban dito. Sino bang mga contenders? Sino bang mga kalaban nito? Sina Dustin Poirier yata. Yeah, oo nga. I don't know when he's gonna be able to fight the top 5 guys. Gaethje, sino pa ba? Sina Dustin Poirier, si Conor. No, I don't think this would be a terrible matchup for Conor McGregor, 'di ba? Si Dustin, I don't know kasi si Dustin did not do well. None of them did well against Khabib. Although definitely Islam is still not Khabib. But he could also be better than Khabib. Diba? So that would be a scary thought just thinking about that. Diba? Kasi mas bata si Islam, mas madami pa siyang matututunan. Although a lot of things could also happen. He seems like a straight arrow guy who trains and very disciplined. And alam mo yun, parang si Khabib, I'm sure pinapagalitan ni Khabib to. The way his dad disciplined him. And if that is the case, all bets are Islam Makhachev will be a UFC champion soon. It would be, I think definitely he will, unless he gets injured. But hopefully that doesn't happen, di ba? We don't want that. We want the best fighters to be able to compete. Kumbaga, hassle yung ano. Hindi naman siya katulad ni John Jones na who keeps defeating himself. Diba? That's the most frustrating thing about John Jones. He's the best fighter in the roster. The most accomplished in terms of combat. Well, you can debate that, 'di ba? Pero unanimously kasi if you consider the longevity of his career, parang definitely he's up there. But then again, he keeps defeating himself by getting into mess after mess after mess. And yun. Tingin ko hindi naman mangyayari dito kay Makhachev yung mga troubles ni John Jones. Okay. So, let's see. Hintayin na lang natin ang future ni Islam Makhachev. Eto ang isa pang malupit na laban. I think this is the biggest story in UFC 267 for me personally. Kumbaga, this is hindi naman. I think this is as big as the story na nung kay Glover Teixeira, 'di ba? Kasi Khamzat Chimaev, so he beat Li Jingliang. Okay, so in a flawless victory, 'di ba? 3 minutes and 16 seconds in round 1. Did not, 0. Did not even land a strike, was not able to shoot a takedown. Nobody. Flawless victory. As in flawless victory. And alam mo yun, kumbaga, there's a crazy stat that was mentioned over and over again in during the fight. Khamzat Chimaev, 'di ba? You can see I'm sure you've seen UFC fighters na mga duguan, 'di ba? Mga ganyan. Kasama sa sport 'yan eh. To get beaten up, to get bloodied, to get your bones broken. Khamzat Chimaev is the ultimate outlier. Kasi in his last four fights, he only took one significant strike. One. Isa lang ang tumama sa lahat ng suntok. Kumbaga, isang beses pa lang siya nasusuntok sa octagon. In a sport, in the organization where the best fighters fight. Diba? Naisip mo ba yun? Can you imagine how crazy that achievement is? Diba? That stat. It's unbelievable. Grabe. This is the scariest fighter in the roster. And I think pwede na siyang lumaban definitely for the championship against whoever wins between Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman, which is another huge event coming in next week. So grabe. It's this card, UFC 267. This is already mind-blowing. And then there's gonna be a follow-up this coming Sunday here in the Philippines. UFC 268. Pag-uusapan natin mamaya yon before we end. But for now, Khamzat Chimaev, there's a crazy moment in this fight where Khamzat, he carried his opponent, si Lee. Binuhat niya. Tapos while he is holding him up, kinakausap niya si Dana White. Diba? Si Khamzat was talking to the owner of the UFC, Dana White, president. Hindi na yata siya owner. Yeah, so the president of the UFC, he was talking to him while he is carrying a killer up in the air, diba? Before proceeding to choke him out, as in Lee got choked out, as in he passed out. He refused to tap. He's a fighter, and this is the exact moment where he blacked out. Probably. Whoa, punk, wala na, diba? So he blacked out, and just like that, didn't even get to throw a punch dito kay Khamzat. And alam mo yun, if you watch Lee's fights, he's not magaling din talaga siya. Kumbaga parang I wouldn't last 2 minutes with this guy and I'm probably dead. Diba? And then Khamzat just ran through him like he's nothing. Not even giving him 100% of his attention. How rude! Grabe tong si Khamzat. This is the most exciting UFC fighter right now. And this is the future star. Future star yan. A lot of people are mentioning Conor McGregor vibes on him. He's different, although he can also talk on the microphone. He can definitely fight. Definitely. Kumbaga, and but I don't think he has that swagger attitude. I think this is a far more composed and more mature Conor McGregor if you are to compare him to Conor. And well, he came from a different culture, 'di ba? Ano bang bansa si Khamzat? Uh, hindi nakalagay. Hindi nakalagay si wait. Wala. I think basta from from Europe siya eh. Khamzat, nasan ba? Event results. Wala eh, hindi ko alam. Hindi siya Russian eh. Hindi siya Russian. Nalimutan ko kung anong bansa siya. Anyway, this is the scariest fighter in the roster. Toss up sila ni Islam Makhachev, but they are on different weight classes eh. So they're not gonna be fighting. Although di ko alam kung they'd be interested in the champ thing, pero they don't seem like the type. Especially Islam. I don't know if he would consider that. Khabib did not, 'di ba? Parang ayaw niya. He's gonna stay where he fights, and he did, 'di ba? So probably ganun din ang mangyayari kay Islam. And although between the two, Khamzat is definitely the more entertaining fighter for me. Kasi yung mga galaw niya is parang Matrix eh. Para siyang Tony Ferguson, yung ground game niya plus yung striking na mas bata, 'di ba? Kumbaga, if it's this is just the next breed of MMA fighters. The sport has evolved into these people from GSP. It evolved to the kinds of Anthony Pettis, 'di ba? Sina Conor McGregor, mga ganyan, sina Kamaru Usman. And now this is the next level, 'di ba? Kasi these guys did not start practicing one martial art like GSP. They si GSP kasi started as a karate fighter ata, something like that. Basta striker siya, and then he discovered MMA and just adapted wrestling, 'di ba? Ganun siya. And then it turns out he's a hell of a wrestler, 'di ba? So MMA wrestling, doon na buo yung MMA wrestling. Of course hindi si GSP yung nagano noon, pero their era, parang I think MMA wrestling was developed during that time. Kasi iba yung wrestling na pang yung solid na wrestling lang na sport. Okay. So, yan. But these guys in the Khamzat, I think, I would guess, sa simula pa lang, MMA na yung sport na tinetrain nila. The same thing with the other fighters na mga bago, sino ba yung mga, I think sina Jiri, Prohaska, I think mga ganyan, yung mga women fighters, they are MMA, their martial art is MMA talaga to begin with. And yun. Iba. I think the Conor McGregor era has already ended. I think last year pa, or maybe even 2 years ago. The Nurmagomedov era has already ended as well, since he is retired. It's actually there's walang era right now. It's vacant. And I think these two people, these two fighters, Khamzat and Islam, will be the forerunners of the next UFC era, the next dynasty. Okay. Sino pa ba? Si Ozdemir, okay lang. It's an entertaining fight. Ankalev, meron siyang win streak. 7 na ata. Marcin Tavura versus Volkov. Di ko alam kung magiging contenders to against the belt. Kung sino kasi naglalaban-laban pa si Cyril Gane, si Francis Ngannou, probably Stipe. Derek Lewis probably would not be fighting for the belt anytime soon. Sina Rosenstrike, and then I suppose Volkov can sino bang nanalo? Sino bang nanalo nga ulit dito? Okay, si Volkov yung nanalo. It's not as impressive the fight, but congratulations to him. Okay, now let's go to the next card. I think this is the greatest card this year. Diba? As good as this one, Blachowicz versus Teixeira. The best card this year would be this one. Holy shit. UFC 268. Usman versus Covington. Diba? Double headliner ulit. So, of course, this will be for the welterweight championship. Usman versus Covington 2. And another rematch. Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Wei Li for the women's strawweight championship. Parehas silang rematch. UFC Covington versus Usman 1 ended up with Usman TKOing Covington. Pero syempre si Covington to, 'di ba? Meron siyang it was not at all a one-sided beatdown. Covington was fighting, and chinek ko yung scorecards. If had the fight not been stopped dun sa laban nila, dun sa 5th round, it could have been a draw. So who knows kung if the referee allowed it to go further than that. Kasi yung isang referee, speaking of the referee, dito sa Glover Teixeira card, merong isang referee doon sa prelims. Kumbaga parang everybody else, the commentators, the audience, they're already shouting to stop the fight. Pero that referee did not, and I think he was fired right after that fight. Kasi he was about to officiate between the other sa Ozdemir versus dun sa kalaban niya, and si Mark Goddard na yung nag referee. So I think he was fired right after. But we'll see si Covington. It's very interesting. The scorecard was tied at the 4th round. So one judge had it at draw, two apiece, 2 rounds apiece sa kanila. The other judge picked Usman with 3-1, while the other judge picked Colby 3-1 as well. So hindi ko alam kung split draw ang tawag doon or draw. So talagang determining factor yung round 3 ay yung round 5. and it was stopped. Although I'm not against the stoppage. I think it was, to me, it was fair enough. Pero I suppose you can make an argument and just at least imagine if it didn't get stopped. Although parang uh, isang isang storyline doon is uh, Usman broke Colby's jaw with a punch. May x-ray pa eh. Hindi ko alam. Ngayon, dinideny ni Colby na na his jaw was broken. Kasi dun sa fight, while he was on the bench, parang he said, I think I broke my jaw. Parang ganun. Pero of course, hindi mo makikita, di ba? Na baka feeling niya lang broken, di ba? Pero ngayon, si Chael Sonnen, sinasabi niya, hindi rin daw. Hindi rin daw. Parang, it was an assumption back then which everybody believed to be true. Ay, bakit ganito? So, right now, but that doesn't matter. Now, they're gonna be fighting again. I don't mind if Usman wins, pero it would be very interesting if Colby wins, and it would be a lot more fun kasi magkakaroon ng trilogy eh, 'di ba? That is how I picked my fighter. Unless it's Rose Namajunas. Rose Namajunas is my favorite fighter ever. Another one would be Justin Gaethje. And of course, the bad guy, Chael Sonnen. Pero syempre, retired na siya. I think Robbie Lawler was also my favorite. Pero since ngayon, he's on a decline already. He's on his way out. Si Rose Namajunas na lang talaga yung talagang super active fighter na favorite ko. And everybody else, I like Covington, even though a lot of people hate him. I like the act. I like the showmanship. I get him, 'di ba? Kumbaga parang by all accounts, people are saying he's actually a great guy, 'di ba? Which I would tend to believe kasi a lot of the high level martial artists are really awesome people. All of the champion martial artists, MMA fighters na kilala ko, sobrang babait. They're the sweetest guys that you'll ever meet. They can kill you in less than 5 minutes, but alam mo yun, they can also love you as hell, diba? Basta ibang klase sila. And so I don't think I have reason to believe that Covington is a real asshole in real life. And I've seen videos of him na breaking character, giving great life advice to people who ask for it. And yeah, I appreciate, kailangan ng sport yung mga taong katulad niya. Sinasabi niya nga yun eh. Parang, si Conor McGregor din ang nagsabi noon. Parang, I forget the exact quote, but he says something like, this sport needs people like me. Parang ganun. Which I believe. Diba? Parang, they are popular because not a lot of people have the guts to do what they do. Diba? Not a lot. Most people want to be loved. Diba? And they have actual, kumbaga parang, they're brave enough to take the heat in return of something, diba? And kumbaga, a lot of people would hate your guts if you're like that. And Colby Covington is one of the characters in the UFC who doesn't mind. So that's one thing that I can respect about him. Grabe to. Pero Kamaru Usman, of course, is a very dominant champion. Um, their fight, hopefully, ganun pa rin ka-intense. Um, he's also very smart. He takes, hindi ko alam eh, he's not much of a showman like Colby, but kumbaga, he can talk enough to at least answer back. Hindi naman siya natatameme. And besides, he has one win over him. And yun. Ay, 3D pala to. Ito yung pinakang hinihintay ko talaga. Si Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili. I think Zhang Weili did not deserve this rematch kasi she got smoked handily in their first meeting when Rose Namajunas regained the strawweight championship. But I suppose the powers there be in China wanted the rematch, diba? I think I don't know. Siguro I think it's a strategy to get the Chinese market. Kasi everybody knows, if you're a fan that follows the UFC, Carla Esparza is the most deserving challenger for the belt right now. Carla Esparza has a win over Thug Rose back in dun sa opening pa lang ng ng strawweight division. So they were the finalist in tawag doon sa tough. Ano nga ba yung ibig sabihin ng tough? Pucha, nalimutan ko. Basta, The Ultimate Fighter. Sumali sila doon. And yung championship nun would determine the first UFC strawweight champion, women's strawweight champion. Wala nang strawweight sa men. Okay, so doon pa lang natalo na ni Esparza si Thug Rose. So there's a backstory. But then again, I suppose mas compelling yung story ng, I don't know. I think the Chinese market has more to do with this than anything else. I don't mind the fight. I would love to see Rose knock her out again. Zhang Weili is training with Henry Cejudo right now. He's getting coached by Triple C. And she said that she's learning a lot of new things from Henry, including, kasi iba yung mindset niya about the loss. Parang she took it personally. She had made tons of excuses about losing to Thug Rose that night, including getting psychologically affected by the boos of the crowd, diba? And then that night kasi there was an accident na nangyari sa Octagon, a gruesome accident when Chris Weidman broke his shin, parang katulad nung kay Conor McGregor at saka kay Anderson Silva. So parang that messed her up daw. Parang oh shit, parang ganyan. Tapos yung booze, and then a lot of things. Medyo nawala siya sa hulog. And also may mga political part din tong laban na to when Thug Rose spoke about communism or against communism, that she essentially said she dedicates the fight to everybody who was affected by communists, kasi in Rose's family is originally from Lithuania, which was a Soviet colony, I think, back in the day, and her family suffered, and they were forced to escape Lithuania and go to the United States because of communist regime, the communist regime. So I think kasi sinama na rin ni Zhang Weili yung yung comment na yun to her list of excuses. And well, that's not to take anything away from Weili. She had this epic fight. This was an instant classic when it happened. Her fight against Joanna Jędrzejczyk was as good as any fight that you will ever see. These two warriors, sobrang if you haven't seen it yet, this is one of the must-see fights in history, especially in the UFC. The best women fight ever. Everybody is saying, 'di ba? And ano pa ba? Yun, Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje is gonna fight as well. Ano yan, parang contender eliminator lang yung mangyayari. Si Michael Chandler is trying to be really active right now. So, ang dami niyang sunod-sunod yung mga laban niya. And ano ba? I think they're all gonna get annihilated by this guy, Khamzat Chimaev, again. Ano siya eh, he's just really something else. I can't wait for Khamzat to get into the mix ng top 5 ng UFC anong nila? Anong division nila? Lightweight ba to? Lightweight division, and basta hindi mo alam if Khamzat, kumbaga, if ever Khamzat fights any of the top 5, Gaethje, si Gaethje ba? Hindi pala, si Leon Edwards, sina Masvidal. Masvidal would not, Google pin siya ni Khamzat. Si Leon Edwards, I don't know, it would be interesting. Colby and Usman, grabe pag if Khamzat will not take any damage fighting Colby or Usman, I think I would say he's the greatest. He is the best fighter in ever in the world, in the history of fighting, diba? I don't know, pero we'll find out. As Chael Sonnen said, I think Colby or Usman would at least get a single leg. But then again, we will see. We don't know until the day comes that they fought. Okay? I suppose yun muna. Teka. Oy, what's up to the people on YouTube and also Facebook? Hindi lumalabas yung nagkakaroon ako ng problema sa sa Facebook kung merong mga, minsan may nagko-comment pa lang, hindi ko nakikita. Let's see. Anyway, I suppose that's it. I can't wait for next Sunday, UFC 268. Teka, puntahan natin. Ano pa yung mga laban sa UFC 268? Wait. UFC events. Ay, wala. Ba't nawala kasi? Okay, dito. X natin to. Wait. Eto. Main card. Shane Burgos, Billy Carantillo, Mark... Uy, Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera pala. Nalaban si Frankie. Frankie had been in a multiple fight losing skid. The legend, we're probably seeing the last of his fights. Let's appreciate Frankie Edgar as long as we can, 'di ba? This is one of the best fighters that ever graced the octagon, and kumbaga an inspirational fighter. Um Basta one of the most likable. Hindi pa ako nakakita ng ng UFC fan na galit kay Frankie Edgar. I think one of the rare fighters that I don't know kung may haters. Kumbaga parang pag nakakita ako ng UFC fan na galit kay Frankie Edgar, say tangina mo, ano problema mo sa buhay, hindot ka. Yun ang sasabihin ko sa kanya. 'Di ba? Teka, ang prelims ng Alex Pereira, Alay Quinta. Okay, so mga ano to, mga hindi pa ganun ka-ranked na mga fighters. They're determining it's great to watch the prelims as well kasi doon mo makikita yung mga upcoming fighters eh. Early prelims. Let's see. But again, etong tatlong to, grabe, sulit na sulit yan. Justin Gaethje, Chandler, Rose Namajunas, Weili, Usman versus Covington. Woo! I can't wait! Okay, so that's all. That's all I got right now. I'll see you guys again. Maybe tomorrow. Hopefully may mga balitang mas mas enjoyable na na komentan, right? Siguro, I don't know. Basta I'll see you guys again as soon as possible. Probably tomorrow nga. All right. Powerful Comics Man Podcast.